You are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact, and more revenue in your business. Tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. Welcome back, my friends. I am here with some tough love this week, and that is a rallying cry to stop starting and stalling. So easy to start. Truthfully, I know there's a lot of excuses about I will do it when the unicorns fly, when next Wednesday comes, after my summer vacation. People have a lot of excuses, but truthfully, starting is easy. It's actually the easier part of the journey of business. What I see every day, and it is tragic, is a landscape littered with people who started and stalled. And it actually comes to right back at the very beginning days when I started my journey and kept being invited into cups of coffee and glasses of wine as people wanted to pick my brain about how in the hell do you create success, that I observed this. We're going to unpack it this week on Amplify Your Marketing Message. If you're new here, I am your host, Campbell Rapin. I am a business mentor. I work with creatives and consultants who are selling a dream. And I help them when they've hit their sophomore slump. When they have started their first few clients and have stalled out, who had dried up their pipeline, fallen out of touch with the marketplace, and wonder where the hell is my next client coming from? Well, I help them solve that by helping the business create a client growth engine. Business is elegantly simple. I'm going to share you some very simple principles today that you need to sit with. Because success is built by a series. Sometimes it feels like a million, and sometimes it in fact is a series of invisible actions. But it is only actions that matter. And if you have a vision for your business, I love it. What are you doing with it is my question. Are you starting, or are you stalling, or are you in momentum? Motivation is often looked at as the holy grail for somebody who's struggling to start or to reboot or to re-engage. And motivation serves its purpose. It is a spark. It is not the answer. Because motivation is based on convenience. And that's why I see this cluttered landscape of I'll start next Tuesday, I'll start after summer vacation, I'll start someday. I've got this great idea. Well, my friends, today's the only day that counts. And it isn't motivation that you need, it is discipline. And it's an understanding of the light and the dark and the journey of building a client growth engine. Discipline means I show up and do the hard things. Discipline means I am more committed to the principles of the vision, regardless of the current reality. It also means you're not waiting for convenience. It means you do what you say you're going to do, and you keep the promise to yourself, to your clients, and to the world at large to live in your purpose, which is to create ripples of change. And so, we're going to be talking about discipline. And I said it, discipline to commit to the invisible things. Because the invisible things are what spark the momentum. And here on Amplify Your Marketing Message, we talk about momentum a lot. Every business on the planet, if you can see it in your mind, you can achieve it in reality. Sometimes the gap is, I don't know how, or I've hit a roadblock, or I've stalled. That is temporary, unless you choose to make it permanent. And when I first started my business back in 2018, I started as a side hustle, my first business, and I kept being invited. Beautiful cups of coffee, glasses of wine, and people kept saying to me, what's the difference between me and you? And I said it was two things. Number one, I actually came equipped with a lot of business skills to the table. I had spent my entire career in the world of business, commercial enterprise. I have 2 degrees in the world of business from great universities, and I studied business, the living, the experience, the different industries, and marketing, sales, and operations. That's what makes me a really great strategic advisor. But first off, I came equipped with skills you might not have, so I had a competitive advantage. But outside of the competitive advantage, which could be an acquired knowledge piece of the puzzle, I had the second piece of the puzzle, which was tenacity and discipline to not quit. And I committed, knowing what my capacity was at the time when I was planning a wedding, gaining 2 bonus daughters, trying to figure out if I should change my name, complete a corporate job that required 40% travel, and do life. I said I will commit 1 hour a day because I can manage capacity around 1 hour. And that meant many, 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 many days. It wasn't 60 minutes start to stop. It was 5 minutes here, 3 minutes here, an email in between a call. It was just discipline in action, messy, scrambly, but always in play. And so when I was chatting with people casually, I said, that's the difference. You are starting when you're motivated and you're stalling when it gets hard. And what it really looks like from the outside, my friends, is you're playing the hokey pokey. You and your business dreams, you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You're waiting for it to be convenient. You're constantly starting. And then when motivation disappears, you stall. Or when it gets hard, it stalls. When you get into the unknown, it stalls. Well, that's the difference between you and I. And many people come in to work with me, whether it is through the one-to-one business scale accelerator or through the Ignite Your Client Growth Group program. They come in because they said, I've got this idea, but I don't have the discipline to follow through. And the biggest worry when they're putting down the investment is I have to bet on myself and then do the decision that was required. Yes, my friends, you do. But it's easier to hold somebody's hand who's got the discipline to show you the path than to try to struggle on your own. Because if you could have achieved the goals you wanted, you would have. So if that's a gap still, solve the gap and come explore the programs that I run because it is the pathway to success. You can find those at ChristineCampbellRapin.com under the Work With Me tab. But so if you are done doing the hokey poking and you're thinking, I feel a little called out, Christine, it's okay. I see you. I'm not judging. I'm inviting you to change the storyline because series of invisible things in the dark is the same experience you have as the business owner, as well as your next client. You guys have the same journey. You're at different ends of the coin, but the journey is the same. It's mirrored. And so you want your business to be already in the light, to already be thriving, to already have success. And my friends, you can see the light, but you're not in it at the beginning. And often in the journey, there will be periods of darkness. Spoiler alert, business is not smooth sailing. Darkness appears, and you can navigate the darkness. And actually getting comfortable with the darkness is the difference maker that you need to hear. Because in the dark, you can't see things clearly. You are uncertain with your footing, and it feels intense. And it is the intensity that you need to tap into. Because if you want results, you want success, you want impact, you want money, you need to understand that everything begins with discipline and desire. Desire of what? You might be thinking. Well, I will tell you, first and foremost, desire wins over your tactic. That's why a lot of people who are in the sophomore slump, who are saying it's been a dry spell since I had clients, Christine, I'm not sure what's missing. Something isn't working well. I feel disconnected from the marketplace. I'm not sure what I'm really valued at, and I'm wobbling. The first thing that we recognize is that you're really focusing on the tactic. The tactics don't matter. All of the tactics work. That's why you hear about them and see them in the marketplace. But the tactic is not working for you, so the issue is not the tactic. It's desire that's missing. And desire to me is strategy. It's the bigger questions of life. And I think there's 4 of them. You've seen them here on this episode. If you've not seen this episode, go find it. It is about the strategy questions. Who are you? What do you stand for? Where do you want to play? Why are you the person to win in that marketplace? And then, of course, you solve for capacity and capabilities. But desire is what sparks movement. And if you want to stop stalling and focus on movement. And one of the most important gifts I can tell you as a mentor who's helped more than 400 businesses to create $1 billion is movement isn't one speed. There are seasons when there are Mach 10, hair on fire, big targets, big goals, big activity, launches, things like that. But there are also seasons that are quieter, and most businesses there is a variation of speed. But the important thing is to stay recognizing you're in control of the speed. So constantly starting from zero is hard. That's the hokey pokey in action. And play the science game. An object in motion stays in motion more easily than an object starting from zero. So I committed when I started my business. I have my clients commit. Tell me where we're at from a speed perspective. Tell me where we're at from a capacity perspective, because we can solve for that. As long as you're 100% sure your non-negotiable is I will get committed, disciplined into building and stepping into the light through a series of 1,000,000 actions taken in the dark. But desire is the spark. And that's why, because movement comes from desire, it's that initiating piece of the puzzle. I tell people who come into my world and want to explore the services I offer, I always ask them this question: what do you desire? Why is that non-negotiable? Why am I the right person to hire you? And if I agree with that, I will make you an offer. I don't do it before then because I can't light your fuel. You are. You're the dream maker. I am a fuel source for you to a fire that's already lit. And so as you're sitting in your business listening to today's episode, I want you to be thinking about, what do I desire out of my business? I also want you to put the opposite coin on the table and say, what does my next buyer desire? Because it's not the tactic, which is just a delivery mechanic, that matters. Truthfully, that's just choice. No equal choice. They're all equal. What does my client desire? What do I desire? What is the spark that starts the movement? And when you can understand the what, you will leave most of the crowd in the dust, because they're focusing on how. How do I know what I want when I'm still asking, what do I want? That's a really important distinction. But when you first start to figure out the desire piece, you need to understand what is the reward, because we are reward-driven people. Humans want to win, celebrate, create, achieve. What does the arrival point look like? You've got to be able to connect to it. And that's why people often stall, because they're like, I'm not seeing enough results. I don't have enough rewards. My destination seems too far away and I give up. You and your client are the same. The pattern of humanness is the same. But you've got to be able to tap into what makes it worth it. What does the arrival date look like? How will we recognize it? And how do you encourage people to stay in the movement? How do you incentivize and reward yourself to stay in the movement? Because there's going to be 1,000,000 reasons, 1,000,000 excuses, and 1,000,000 people that will pull you off course. Don't let them. Blinders on. Go amplify your message. So we talk about desire. We get clear on the what. We know what the result is. And the piece of the puzzle which you are often missing is, what's the payoff? Why is it non-negotiable? Why now? How will I celebrate achievement? And how will the achievement change everything? My relationships, my health, my wealth, my connectivity to the planet, all of it. We need to know it's worth it. And I think some of the biggest challenges, why the landscape is so littered with stalled engines, is because we're not either sure why it's worth it. So it's a nice to have. It's not oxygen, life-giving. And we're also expecting the light to be immediate, the win to be immediate. And when I'm working in elite business owners, that's my clientele, they're elite business owners creating big business empires, and that business empire is big in their own eyes. I have to remind them, motivation is not the key, discipline is. Success is a series of small actions taken in the dark. It's not okay for you to stay in the place of enlightenment if you want to have client growth because your clients aren't enlightened. They're in the dark. You've got to go be comfortable in the dark. And you get clear in the dark when you can't see, can't touch, can't taste. What is desire? What is the heart? What makes it worth it? And I have to remind people all the time. So I'm going to remind you because it's a public service. You have to understand that what it's worth is a personal perspective. And don't promise the easy path. There's enough of that cluttered in the marketplace already. We as human beings know that growth by its very nature is discomfortable. We also know that growth requires stretching. It requires sucking at something new. It requires wobbling. And while we know there might be an easy path, we don't trust it. And we often see it as emperor's new clothes, simply a mirage. So when you're building your business and you're building your engine and you're thinking about how do I find my next client? How do I amplify my message? I want you to tap into this episode. Spend some time reflecting. What's worth it? Because once you know what's worth it, what's the payoff? I'm prepared to do the work. How about you? I do want someone to hold my hand because I know I'm going to get in my own way. I'm going to get lazy. I'm going to get distracted. I'm going to stall. Don't let me. The way I don't let my clients. Because once you have all these engines together, I will tell you that's the time. Not before. That's the time you apply the tactic. Because the tactics are the delivery mechanic. They're not the thing. They're just the vehicle. And for you to have success and to not be one of the many who start and stall, you need a very big discipline, carrot, purpose. And as you do that consistently, put in the work, you start to step into the light. And that's where the ripples get really magical. But staying in the light is not the destination. It's a recognition that you see the light, you build the light, you go back into the dark, and you bring others into it. That's really when we make big ripples of change. That's when the amplification is massive. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Success is a series of a million things done in the dark. My friend, right now, if you are stalled in your business, you are in the dark. I'm throwing you a lifeline. Come connect to me, ChristineCampbellRapin.com. Come explore our programs. Come get into the rooms we're part of because we will help you see the vision, hold the vision when you wobble, and help you build the structure to have the discipline to create the epic results that are there. They're there. Never doubt it for a second. I will see you there. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit ChristineCampbellRapin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.